Alright, let's dive into this. Imagine a university suddenly losing its right to host international students. Not because of a scandal or financial fraud, but because of a few percentages on a spreadsheet. That's exactly what happened to London's Bloomsbury Institute. And honestly, this story is a window into a much bigger battle between education and bureaucracy. Let me break it down. So, the UK government tightened visa compliance rules for universities in 2026. Suddenly, schools have to hit a 5% visa refusal rate, 95% enrollment, and 85% course completion. By 2027, completion rates jump to 90%. At first glance, these numbers seem like basic accountability, right? But here's the thing. When you reduce education to metrics like this, you start treating students like products on a factory line. What happens when a school fails? Well, Bloomsbury found out. They'd lost their license. And personally, I think this isn't just about one university. It's a warning shot to the entire higher ed sector. Let's unpack the 5% visa refusal rate. Sounds low, but what does that really mean? Universities now have to vet international applicants with a near-perfect approval rate. But here's the catch. International students are already rigorously screened before applying. If a school's refusal rate spikes, it's often because of systemic issues, like a sudden influx of applicants from a region with stricter visa scrutiny. Is it fair to punish the school for external factors? Or is this just the government's way of indirectly limiting immigration under the guise of standards? Bloomsbury argued they've reformed their leadership after October 2025. They even got the Home Office to shorten their license ban from 2 years to 18 months. But here's the irony. The assessment was based on pre-2025 data. So, they fixed the problem after the fact, but the punishment still stuck. What does this say about the system? It feels like a game where the rules change mid-play. And honestly, how many other schools are scrambling to meet these metrics right now, terrified of the same fate? Now the students. The Home Office claims they'll minimize disruption, letting current enrollees finish or transfer. But let's not sugarcoat it. This is a nightmare for those stuck in limbo. Imagine flying across the world, paying sky-high tuition, only to have your university's license yanked. And if you can't transfer? Suddenly, you're forced to leave the country or scramble for a work visa. This isn't just bureaucratic red tape, it's life-altering. What's fascinating is how this reflects a broader trend. The UK isn't alone here. Countries like Australia and Canada are cracking down on international student numbers, citing everything from housing crises to fraud prevention. But underneath, there's a pattern. Governments treating international education as a cash cow, then slapping on restrictions when problems arise. And universities? They're caught in the middle, pressured to balance revenue, compliance, and academic integrity. Here's the deeper question. What happens when education becomes a compliance checklist? Schools might start rejecting borderline applicants to protect their metrics, even if those students could thrive academically. Course completion rates? They're a minefield. Should universities hold back grades to meet quotas? Or push struggling students through to avoid penalties? The incentives are all misaligned. And let's talk about the elephant in the room. International education is a $30 billion industry for the UK. But when you prioritize numbers over nurturing talent, you risk alienating the very students funding these institutions. Bloomsbury's case might be a drop in the ocean, but it's a wake-up call. How many more schools are skating on thin ice? And what does this mean for the future of global education as governments tighten their grip? So what's my takeaway? This isn't just about Bloomsbury. It's about a system where universities are increasingly held hostage by political agendas and arbitrary metrics. And if you're a student watching this, maybe it's a reminder to research very carefully. But I want to hear from you. Do these rules protect the system's integrity, or are they just pushing a hidden agenda? Drop your thoughts below. Let's unpack this together.